This is Monday Motivation and Mike, and I am your host, Michael Wainwright. In charge of all the controls is Jason Wright. And hello to you, world. This is the show that can and will change your life. You can contact us at info@mx3.vip. Find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/mx3podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so Jason can notify you of all of our new content, which comes out every Monday morning around 9 o'clock. Jason, as we approach the end of our third year, which is basically, which is really neat, is it's always right around July 4th. Our first Monday ever was the first Monday of July 2022. And here we approach 2025 July 4th. Our podcast started that day, and our YouTube, I believe, started 1st of January of 2023.
That's right.
So we're 2 years into the old YouTube channel, and over 130,000, over 131,000 as of the recording of this show, and eking our way to the 2025 goal of 250,000 subscribers. I love it. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. As a lot of you know who have listened to the show about a month ago, when I was pretty well ripping on the National Football League, the halftime show, and more importantly, Kendrick Lamar. I believe everybody remembers that. Well, and I have taken my share of comments, we'll just say, some good and some not so good. And I was thinking about a guy who fits into the same mold that Kendrick Lamar does, in the same profession, the same race, the same color, etc., etc. And I'm going to give you another spin to what I talked about during the Super Bowl halftime show episode here a month ago. Jason, have you ever heard Curtis James Jackson III?
50 Cent.
50 Cent. 50 Cent. And frankly, I became familiar with 50 Cent when he was on the show Last Vegas 4, 5, 6, 8 years ago. Michael Douglas in it, where the group goes to Vegas, last hurrah. Kelvin Klein, trying to think who else was. It was a good show, very, very good show. And the reason I became acquainted with it is because someone told me to watch it, because it remembers it shows them who my gang is and the people that I run with on a regular basis, and how my group's always together. So, that's how I got familiar with that.
I think I got familiar with them when I was in the club, and I heard in the club.
That's exactly right. That's towards the end of the show, and they get 50 Cent's room at one of the big hotels that they're staying at, and 50 Cent can't get his room, that he's always in the VIP. And so he doesn't get the room. They put him in another room. Then he comes up and they won't let him into the party. That's my first interaction with 50 Cent. And then I checked into him, and I quickly went from his record making to his successful business ventures, which I think when you listen to his story, you're going to think anybody can do anything they want to do, because it's a very, very intriguing story, and how he became 50 Cent. Curtis James Jackson III, born July the 6th, 1975. As we continue to talk about the first week of July, think of all the great things that have happened the first week of July. Starting number one, July 4th, 1776. the greatest day, one of the greatest days. I would say it's the greatest day. It was the birth date of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's the greatest day. Anyway, 50 Cent is an American rapper, actor, television producer, and businessman. Born in South Jamaica, not the country, a neighborhood in Queens. Okay, when I hear that, as a lot of people do, of our viewers and listeners, the first thing they think of, he grew up in a rough area. Queens, New York, one of the 5 boroughs. Jackson began producing and pursuing a music career in 1996. And from 1999 to 2000, he recorded his debut album, Power of the Dollar, for Columbia Records. All right, number one, if you get produced by Columbia Records, you're doing some stuff. That's top of the food chain. And as I listened to Power of the Dollar, if I had said to you, hey, we're going to talk about the power of the dollar today, 50 Cent probably wouldn't come to your mind. You would probably figure it's going to be a business topic, a business episode, Power of the Dollar. That was the name of his first debut album. However, he was struck by 9 bullets during a shooting in May of 2000, causing its release to be canceled and Jackson to be dropped from the label. Now, here he is on cloud 9, gets shot, recovers from that, and then finds out he really don't even have a job. So his debut album then became, in 2003, Get Rich or Die Trying. All right, well, there's another motivational book. Once again, has nothing to do with some of these names of these songs that, for lack of a better saying, are vicious crimes, etc. It's like the country songs. I call it suicide music because it's always about a story that typically doesn't end up in a very good place. That's what I call country music. That's why it's very difficult for me to listen to it, because a whole lot of it in my mind is depressing. All right. You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah. All right. As I say, he was born in the borough of Queens, New York, and raised in South Jamaica neighborhood of Queens, New York, by his mother, Sabrina. Sabrina was a drug dealer. Raised Jackson until she died in a fire when Jackson was only 8 years old. All right. So now this is 1983. Okay. Jackson revealed in an interview that his mother was a lesbian. So now he's got his mom and another lady probably doing things in front of him that he's not used to seeing. I'm continuing to work on this mind here and painting you a picture of how rough it was. Okay. After his mother's death and his father's departure, 8 years old, mom died, dad's gone. Jackson was raised by his grandparents. First thing he does is start fighting. He began boxing about age 11, and when he was 14, a neighbor opened a boxing gym for local youth. And this is quote, "When I was killing time in school, I was sparring in the gym and selling crack on the strip." Jackson remembered. He sold crack during primary school. "I was competitive in the ring, and hip hop is competitive too. I think rappers condition themselves like boxers, so they all kind of feel like they're the champ." End quote. At age 12, Jackson began dealing narcotics when his grandparents thought he was in after-school programs. He brought guns and drug money to school. In 10th grade, he was caught by metal detectors at Andrew Jackson High School. He said it was embarrassing. It got him arrested. After he got arrested, all right, so this is funny. It's also kind of sad. He gets arrested, and so what had happened when he got arrested? He stopped hiding it. He was telling his grandparents openly, "I sell drugs." So how some people get caught in their crime and they changed their ways. Now he didn't have to hide it anymore. He didn't have to spend any useless energy on doing the act and then trying to hide the act. Now he was open, rock and roll, whatever. On June the 29th, 1994, Jackson was arrested for selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. He was arrested again 3 weeks later when police searched his home and found heroin, 10 ounces of crack cocaine, and pistols. Although Jackson was sentenced to 3 to 9 years in prison, he served 6 months in a boot camp and earned his GED. Good for him. He has said that he did not use cocaine himself. Jackson adopted the nickname 50 Cent as a metaphor for change. Now, just to recap, the dude was born into Queens, New York, which, like I say, most of us think of that perception as a tough neighborhood. He was born to a drug dealer, his mother. Killed at 8. Dad abandoned him. He's out in the streets at an early time, selling crack, selling drugs, selling narcotics, getting arrested. That's enough right there. Way more than most of us can handle, and a whole lot more than typically people who have to go through those kind of things don't come out on the other end. And I don't know what that percentage is, but I'm going to say it's 80 plus. Then we go over here and we get a record label with Columbia Records. We get shot. We lose that. Another trying time. So you think about from 1975 to 1995. 20 years? We'll even go 25 years. That was the first 25 years of his life. He, in essence, dodged a lot of bullets and took some bullets and come out on the other side. And just a little bit more rap before I get to what I think is the most important part of our show today in his business philosophies and where I'm trying to get to, but wanting to show you what can be accomplished if you really, really, really want to do something. 96 to 2002 is his raise to fame. He also had the shooting in the early mixtapes where they did not get released. The next 5 years was his mainstream breakthrough, Get Rich or Die Trying. Also The Massacre. The next 3 years, he sells battles with Kanye West and so forth and so on. That's when the Get Rich, Die Trying really got going. Debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. So 691,000 copies the first week. He was only behind Graduation by Kanye West. Started getting into movies. He was on the episode of Total Request Live. Before I Self-Destruct was another one of his releases. 2010 to 2015, more musical direction, starting business adventures. Now, did you know, and I do not remember this, Jason, did you know that in 2021, he was Super Bowl halftime show?
I do recall that, yes.
I do not remember that. Okay, he moved to Houston. Now he's thinking about his money. This was thought for lower taxes, no income tax, and for the rapper scene, as well as other ventures such as writing screenplays. He also was a part of the Horizon United Group, and Houston Independent School District began a partnership and a project that would help high school students learn the business skills that define successful entrepreneurship. Now, how many times on this show do we talk about that? Why do we not teach those kind of things in school? Why don't we teach the real meaning of compound interest? Why don't we teach common sense. And he teams up with HISD Houston and start talking about the business skills that come along with a successful business. Interesting. February 13th, 2022. I said 21. It was the 21 season, the 22 halftime show. He was a surprise performer at that was Super Bowl 56 halftime show, receiving a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety Special. How about that? You think, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar?
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to be getting any awards for that thing he put on the other day?
Oh, no.
No, don't think it's going to happen?
No.
Now,
I know how.
let's go to 50 Cent business. He owns dozens of, as he says, boring businesses that's made him a millionaire. Still owns 7 boring businesses that last year made him $836,072 of passive income. Okay. That's more money than he got off Get Rich or Die Trying. Here's his business philosophies. Because of the music, he's built a fortune through small investment. Vitamin Water. He was involved in a vitamin water company. They sold that company for $1.4 billion, Jason. He was in a headphones company, champagne brand, TV production, real estate. In other words, and this is his quotes, his words. While most rappers are blowing their money on diamond chains, Lamborghinis, private jets, 50 Cent is focused on buying boring businesses with predictable cash flow. I was smart to move because these businesses made him more money than his own music career. And like I say, I know who 50 Cent is. I know who Kanye West is. I know who Snoop Dogg is. I didn't know who Kendrick Lamar was. Or is, whatever it is. English folks. He said he didn't need to be a celebrity. His celebrity is when he looks at his checkbook every day.
There you go.
And I'm all about that too. Unfortunately, mine's not where 50 Cent is. I think I've got 50 Cent. That's what I'm changing my name. I'm coming up with a new one.
Okay, what is it?
25 Cent.
Just half as good as 50 Cent?
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, now we could be, in the olden days, 150 years ago, there was a coin called the half dime. That was the first name of the nickel. The half dime.
Interesting.
I may be the half dime. I kind of like that because you know what? I bet nobody else is using it. Check and see if we can get that patent.
Okay, I'm on it.
All right. He says he spends most days with his family. Here's his blueprint. Find recession-proof businesses. That's number 1. HVAC. Accounting. I told you this dude. We need to have him on the show. How many people have I said we need to have on the show, Jason?
It's a long
bunch.
list.
Yeah, you need to get to work. Laundromats. Yeah, absolutely. Those are the kind of recession-proof businesses that he's brought up. He says, and I have not been on this website, use BizBuySell to locate your business. $10,000 plus cash flow, 5 years of operation with a $500,000 to $1 million price tag. That's his parameters. Okay, you think about it. Most people are not thinking about that kind of acquisition when they go out looking for a business. I'm looking for $10,000 a month worth of cash flow, 5 years worth of operations for history, with a price tag of $500,000 to $1 million. Then he says, apply for an SBA loan. Now, I'm not the biggest supporter of SBA loans. Doing accounting for 35 years and having clientele walk in trying to acquire SBA loans. There's been more failures than success stories when it comes to SBA loans. Very, frankly, it's more difficult to me than it is to go to the bank and try to do things there. Now, as he's going through his blueprint, number 4 is bring your tax returns, W-2s, 1099s, etc., because you have to prove out your income. And you would think that would be an obvious, common sense thing. You know how people go to borrow a bank, go to a bank to borrow money and do not have any proof of income when they get there? Almost all of them. The one thing that you need when you show up is some proof of income. And most do not go. So when you look at this and he goes, bring your tax returns and your W-2 pay stubs, you think, yeah, of course. Most people don't do that. Yeah, because I get a ton of emails from bankers. Hey, could you send so-and-so's tax returns over? Then you got to go call the taxpayer, the client, and ask them if it's okay to release. Then they got to send you back the email. Then you send it over to the bank. And that's whenever it goes that smooth, when all they had to do was walk in the door with the tax returns that they already have and should have in their possession. You need to come up with the explanation of why you want to buy this business and what you're going to do with it. This 50 Cent is growing on me. Here's number 6. His 6th step to a business blueprint. Hire an accountant to verify financials. Even offer the accountant equity if you're short on cash. How about that, Jason?
I like it.
Recession-proof accounting. Bring your tax returns on number 4 and hire an accountant on number 6. I think I'm finding me another new best friend. 50 Cent. Number 7, look for steady growing revenue. Number 8, talk to owners about why they're selling. I've always said that. Why are you trying to make me a good deal? Why are you wanting to get out of this great business if it's so great? That is the first question that you ask before you even look at the financial statements. Why do you want out? He says, look for retiring baby boomers. Now, you think about that. They have great work ethic. They have saved their money. They grew up in a generation, well, it was a very respectful generation. And they know how to do things, in my opinion, the right way. Look for baby boomers wanting to sell their businesses. Then he says, offer 2.34 times their annual cash flow. That's bring home. All right. So you got a business taking home $400,000 a year. Offer them $936,000. That's the 400 times the 2.34. Now that's low. If he can go out and do that right there, you ought to sign up. Businesses netting $400,000 a year, in my accounting view, is worth more than 2.34 times. Now, once again, you're the latter part of your career, you're ready to move on, you're ready to get out, and somebody's fixing to hand you that check because you don't, here it is January 1st, you don't have $400,000. You got to work 12 months to make that $400,000. And now somebody's willing to give you a check for $936 minus your taxes. And now you have X amount of dollars ready to go and invest in a bond, invest in the market, put it somewhere else, whatever the case may be. Maybe you got bad health. Maybe you're going to start traveling. So there are reasons to take 2.34. But on the average, you can get more than that. 50 Cent obviously says that, I mean, he's got that formula figured out, and he's got several businesses that he owns. And so he knows his numbers, and his proof is in the pudding. Okay. Number 9. Now he's back on this SBA. Use your SBA loan for 90% of the purchase. I don't think that SBA is coughing out 90% right now. Not for sure, but I don't think the SBA is giving out 90%. He then says, find an investor to cover the other 10%. So we need $1 million. You give me $100,000. And for that, I'm not going to give you 10%. I'm going to give you 15% of the equity. So in essence, he's offering you a 50% return right off the bat. When you don't have any money, that's a pretty good deal. Basically, his blueprint here is how he got into businesses. As he says, you just bought a business with zero money out of your pocket. Take it for what it's worth. And he's got a lot of, in those 11 steps, actually, he has several points in there that are absolutely dead on. Now, just recapping. This is a guy born Queens, New York. Mom was a drug dealer. Died in a fire. Dad left him. Out on the streets, being raised by grandparents, selling narcotics, selling drugs, getting shot, getting a record label, losing that record label before he could even get his first album off the ground. And you sat at home on your couch feeling sorry for yourself and wonder why it just can't happen to me. Because I come from a not so supportive family. Because my spouse doesn't support me. I'm not smart enough. He got a GED while he was in boot camp prison. Has nothing to do with education. Education's a help. Information is a great commodity. So when you are trying to figure out why I can't be successful, why I can't get the job done, the biggest asset you have is a mirror, because you get to look into it and find all the answers. You never thought about it that way, did you, Jason?
No, I didn't.
You thought I was going to talk about that biggest asset being information, education, that beautiful wife you have, whatever it is. It's the mirror. The mirror tells you the truth. The mirror sometimes puts a frown on your face. Can you look in the mirror and be happy with what you see? And I'm not talking about your looks. 50 Cent. Man, I'd like to talk to him. I'd probably go to the club just to talk to him. Money, Motivation, and Mike. We continue to dig deep, finding stories, coming up with things. And frankly, 50 Cent was not on my mind till about 24 hours ago. And I had other things I want to talk about. You know, I've always have other things I want to talk about. I got a lot of branches going on here. I've got a form right here laying on my end of the table here, Jason, talking about time management. It's been laying here for 2 months. Obviously, I don't have time to talk about it. You can contact us at info@mx3.vip. Find all of our content at mx3.vip and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NMX3 podcast. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified of all of our new content, which comes out every Monday morning. So once again, for everyone who's been a part of this show, Money, Motivation, and Mike, continue to live your life the right way.